Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, Azumarill is the Pokemon I decided to use here in GBL. It's a very flexible pick, but it's a Pokemon I don't have a lot of experience with. I normally seem to not want to use it because it is pretty slow, kind of clunky, but it has really unique coverage being a water and fairy type, having access to Play Rough, Ice Beam. It's a very flexible pick here, and honestly, it also pairs very well with Altaria. I used an ABA water team here today. Obviously, we do instantly lose to grass type leads, but a lot of leads that we have a lot of neutral play into, the Quagsire Altaria backline will have a fantastic matchup into. Let's take a look at the battles and see what Azumarill can do. Alright, let's head into game number 1, see what this team is going to have in store for us. We have the Vigoroth lead. This is a very neutral matchup. Azumarill does win the zeros here pretty easily, but these Vigoroths do have a lot of neutral play, a lot more neutral play than most fighters would. Looks like they are staying in this matchup, which makes me think they might be a little bit weak here to either a water type or fairy type in the back. If that is the case, we obviously have fairy type damage with Altaria, we have water type damage with Quagsire, but they make a fantastic catch here, though it is against us with a Feraligatr. We'd probably want to throw this anyway because we don't have a hard answer to this, and I know that Altaria, after I land that move, I can probably just shield once and farm them all the way down. If they end up baiting us here, that would be kind of unfortunate. Maybe they could get to a bait plus a nuke, but I'm thinking right now they'd probably just get to double Hydro if that, and they do straight up go for the Ice Beam. We shield it up, and we should get a full farm down here. Our energy likely will either go back into that Vigoroth or into whatever the third Pokemon might be. That Vigoroth comes in, I can see what they're going to do. They do have a lot of energy. They might get a Rock Slide into us in a second, but we do get the Sky Attack off before they get any moves. We can farm them down at this point, too, if they let this go. They do end up shielding it, so we do get our shield back, and I think that a Rock Slide still does not knock us out yet. It's non-stab. Vigoroth is not the highest attack-weighted Pokemon here in the game. I think we survive this. I think we get to a Moonblast here. If we can, then we'll be able to either take the last shield here, or we'll be able to knock them out and see how the backline is going to shape out. They do let that go, and the final Pokemon is actually a Mandibuzz. Very interesting they swapped out of that lead when they had something even weaker to Azu in the back, but Azu kind of core breaking that team. Good stuff, Azu. Alright, next game, the Vigoroth lead once again. Let's see if it's going to be a similar backline or a different one here. They're probably going to play out the same, at least for the start, where they're going to stay in here. I'd expect them to try to play out the lead, though, like not even swap out at this point, because Vigoroth here, it's pretty neutral, as I was talking about. Vigoroth can have a lot of neutral play. Counters might be resisted, but these body slams are very quick. They get to these moves so quickly here, and Azu is a little bit clunky. I'm going to try to bait the Hydro Cannon here. Obviously, we were running Ice Beam and Play Rough, but if you build up to 7 bubbles here, you can at least make them think, you know, you maybe are running Hydro Pump, maybe they want to shield this. If they do, we will just kind of let our Azu go, get another Play Rough off, and be in a good spot. Looks like they do end up falling for the bait. That's why you always build up to that energy if you possibly can. They get to another body slam here. It'll put us pretty low, but we can get to this next Play Rough and force them to likely throw yet another charge move against us if they want to knock us out before we can either bubble them down or get to another Ice Beam. The Play Rough will come through. It won't knock them out or anything like that, but it puts them so low to the point where Quagsire, Altaria, they're really not that scared of this thing here in the back. What is their backline going to be, though? They are staying in the lead, just like last game. If they're weak to Fairies, I have Moonblast with Altaria. If they're weak to Water types, I have my Quagsire with Aqua Tail. What is going to come in to meet our Altaria here? It's going to be their own Azumarill, and then it is also going to be a Gligar. So they were very weak to Water types in the back here with this Gligar. We have our Quagsire here with these Aqua Tails. We can start spamming them out here, and look how much damage that does. It basically puts them into range where Dragon Breaths would be so impactful against them. They'd get knocked out basically in just a couple of them, but I know I need to keep my Quagsire alive. That Azumarill that they have of their own is going to be very hard to take out here. I do win CMP. I want to get as much energy out of this matchup as I possibly can. They actually end up letting their Gligar go. This is really nice for me. I get to keep a shield. If they would have shielded, I would have probably had to shield myself, but now we can keep a shield here to fight against this Azumarill. These mud shots that I'm getting are adding up. Obviously, they're not doing a lot of damage, but every little bit of chip damage that I can get onto them is really going to help. They do end up throwing a move here. I was trying to make a catch, but we don't quite get to our switch clock in time. They do throw the Ice Beam here. We have the Stone Edge. It's going to do a lot of damage, get them almost to half health here. If I can land another move, we might be able to put them into a range where Altaria can close out the backline. I know I can build up to an Aqua Tail here, just in case I can get to that Stone Edge later on. I wanted to bank that, make it so they can't throw a move against our Quagsire. I know for sure I survived one Ice Beam. They have to throw 2 moves with their Azu if they want to knock us out. If I can get to the Sky Attack, I'm going to put them into Aqua Tail range. At this point, I can see my win condition here. I just need to make sure that they're not going to come out of this matchup with a charge move, and I need to be ready to tap on my Aqua Tail when I come back in with our Quagsire. They do get to another move here right before we get the Sky Attack. Good counting by them. They are going to be 1 bubble off. Azu cannot store 2 moves here back to back. I can do 1 Mud Shot, throw the Aqua Tail, and guarantee the knockout here against this. Aqua Tail might be resisted, but this Aqua Tail is going to be more than enough to knock out this Azumarill. GG's to them. Alright, getting into the next match, Azumarill into Skarmory. A very awkward lead, I'd say, for our Azumarill, just because they can outpace us here to a Sky Attack plus a Brave Bird, and it might make it so we can't get to 2 moves here. I'm going to build up once again to try to bait that we have Hydro Pump. If they end up shielding this is a fantastic thing to see. If they no shield, that's fine with us. They do end up shielding it, so now I know I can just sack my Azu here, make it so hopefully once we get rid of this Skarmory, our Altaria will have play in the back. I'm expecting Mud Boys, maybe Fighters, maybe Dragons. Altaria is going to have a great matchup once his Steel type's gone. I threw on bad timing there because I know that if I didn't, they could get a Brave Bird off before I get my move. I didn't really want to invest a shield here in my Azu, and I know that since they haven't thrown energy yet, I can swap into my Quagsire, outpace them here pretty heavily. They will have a move loaded, but I have my Aqua Tail as well. They go for the Brave Bird, they want to get the knockout against us, and in comes a Feraligatr. This is not the worst matchup here for a Quagsire, especially with how much energy we have. Since it's a non-Shadow Gator, I also know that I can survive a Hydro here pretty easily, go for these Aqua Tails, build up as much energy as I can. For some reason, I guess we ended up arbitrarily CMPing there on like the 6th Mud Shot, but that's totally fine. We have our Hydro, or we tank the Hydro Cannon rather, we have our Aqua Tail. This is going to be more than enough to knock them out at this point, and we are 2 Mud Shots away from our next Aqua Tail. Even if that Skarmory comes back in, we will probably get to the next move and knock them out, and see what that third Pokemon is before we have to reveal ours. They end up coming in eventually here with that Skarmory. They've already proven to be ABA weak to electric types. I'm almost certain it's going to be a Mud Boy in the back. It's just which one. Is it a Quagsire with Stone Edge, which would do a lot of damage to Altaria? Is it a Whiscash in the back, maybe a Swampert? They're staying in here. I'm pretty sure it's a Mud Boy since they're staying in, but which one is it going to be? Stone Edge would do a lot of damage if it is a Shadow Quagsire in the back. Brave Bird comes through, we shield it, we knock them out here with Dragon Breath. In comes a Whiscash. We can win the game here. Alright, Azumarill into Annihilape. This is not exactly the best lead, but it's not terrible. Honestly, you'd expect the Fairy type to be fantastic into Annihilape, but if they get a lot of chip damage onto us, if they get us into Shadow Ball range, it's not great. But we do see that they instantly swap out to Feraligatr here, so they did not actually want to stay in that lead matchup. They likely have something in the back that's going to be much better against our Azumarill. I'm totally fine just kind of staying in this matchup at this point too. I know that if I were to come in with my Altaria, I'd have to potentially shield Ice Beams, and if they do probably get a bait off against us, then that's going to make it so they can flip switch, just going straight Ice Beam after the fact. So instead of trying to play these bait and nuke games here with this Feraligatr, I'm just going to stay in with our Azu, absorb all the damage I can, and instead I'm going to use my Altaria hopefully against that Annihilape in the back. We can build up a little bit of extra energy here, go for the Ice Beam. They are in Ice Beam range, and now if they come back in with that Ape, we can probably play rough them. If they don't, we'll see what their third Pokemon is and see if we need switch this game. What are they going to bring in the back? It is going to be an Alolan Sandslash. Very happy that I have switched this game. I get to the play rough here. We obviously are not running Hydro Pump, and they know that. They've seen both of our moves, but this move is going to trip them down a decent amount, put them into range where Quagsire will be able to throw an Aqua Tail and probably knock them out. If they do try to make a catch, then at least I can farm down that Annihilape as well. Let's see what they're going to do. These Mud Shots are ripping through this thing's health. It does so much damage here, super effective into this Shadow Alolan Sandslash. Even though Mud Shot's not the highest damaging move, obviously it does do a decent amount of damage there. They make a fantastic catch on this Aqua Tail here. It is going to be caught on the Annihilape, so we can now farm this all the way down. Since that is a Powder Snow Alolan Sandslash, that does make it a little bit more awkward. I have to be a little bit careful this game. I don't want to give that thing too much energy. If they can get to 3 Ice Punches against our Quagsire, we could potentially lose this match. For some reason, they end up baiting me, but I realize it's because they want to get a full farm down here with their A-Slash, have as much energy into my backline as possible. But look, these Dragon Breaths are ripping through its health as much as the Mud Shots would be. At this point, I think we're just going to have to go for a Mud Shot down and see if we can win the game with fast move pressure. We do get to this first Sky type, we don't get to that second one. So yeah, we do have to commit here to only fast move pressure. If we can get these Mud Shots down before they get 3 moves, then we're going to be in a good spot. They need 3 more Mud Shots to hit the back-to-back, and right now, right when they get it, we get the Mud Shot down and we take the game. Great catch by them, but Quagsire just barely able to close out that match. Next game with the Shadow Dragonair lead. Fantastic lead for our Fairy type, but in comes a Psychic type Pokemon. I thought maybe Cresselia, but no, that's a Deoxys Defense Safe Swap. Not the most common pick to see, and we don't have a hard response to this. I could come in Altaria, I could come in Quagsire. It is very hard to tell what would their backline be, which one is going to be the more useful Pokemon to bring in here. The way that I see it, I can force them to throw Psycho Boost here against our Quagsire. We'll be able to Stone Edge that Dragonair, hopefully have play into whatever is in the back with our Altaria. If it is like a Bastiodon, obviously that is a mistake, but if it's like a Shadow Victory Bell or something, then obviously having our Quagsire on this thing and not against that Victory Bell would be a great option. We go for the Stone Edge. I know that an Aqua Tail would not knock them out here. Stone Edge likely will, and they might try to call a move. It does knock them out, and in comes that Shadow Dragonair here. We can try to go for baits, we can try to go for nukes. We go for the nuke here because I do want to get a guaranteed shield from this thing. We get a shield. Actually, we don't even get a shield. They let that go, and they make a catch on a Toxapex. Alright, so a great game is turning into a very awkward situation here. Landing this Aqua Tail, of all things, actually might help us out quite a bit this game. It is a little bit of extra damage. It makes it so this Dragon Breath down might be a little bit easier for us. With that said, they have shield advantage. I am not a very quick pacing Pokemon here as well. I can get to these Sky attacks, but I think they can outpace me here to these Sludge Waves. And Azumarill's probably worst nightmare here is this Toxapex, so I do not want to stay in that matchup if I can help it, but I think they're going to be able to knock out my Altaria. My Quagsire is too low, and they're over farming here with their Toxapex. I know for sure they're going to be able to get to a move against our Azu. We're going to need to make a catch this game if we want to have any chance at winning it. They get to the Sludge Wave. They are overfarmed here, I think, by 2 moves. That little bit of overfarm is going to be more than enough here to win them the game if they land this Sludge Wave and then a Body Slam with their Dragonair. I'm going to come with Azu, hopefully get to a move, but I know I'm energy dry. I know they can outpace me to an attack here. It's really going to come down to a catch. If I can call a catch on either one of these moves, they end up throwing this Sludge Wave here in the middle of the animation. Very smart play, but I know there might be a combo play coming through. Watch the top right corner, see if that Dragon type comes back in. It does. We swap out instantly into our Quagsire. We catch the Body Slam, and now if we can farm down this Dragonair before they get to a Body Slam, we should be able to win this game. It's resisted bubbles here. We get 1 bubble, 2 bubbles, 3. We have the play rough loaded. We can throw this against the Toxapex here when it comes back in. They end up realizing that they cannot win that game. GG's to them. Very close backline. Alright, Azu into Deoxys defense. We just saw one of these in the previous game, but this time it's in the lead, so we're kind of stuck using our Azumarill against it. Fun fact though, Azu actually straight up wins the one shield, straight Ice Beam. You might expect to want to throw Play Rough or throw Hydro Pump if you're running it, but Ice Beam is actually the play. This way you can outpace them to the Thunderbolts. You can get to 3 moves before they get to 3, and even if they get to 3 moves, it's just going to be a Psycho Boost in the one shield matchup. So we get this Ice Beam off. It's going to do a lot of damage, almost put them down to half health, and we're neutralizing this thing, so we're not really going to have to deal with it in the backline. We're not necessarily weak to this, right? But I don't know what the backline is. I don't want to give up Switch if I can help it. We shield the Thunderbolt properly here, and we can get to the Ice Beam now. If they end up shielding this, then we'll have to get to this next one before they get to theirs, and if they end up no shielding this, then we get the farm down. They do shield that move, we'll get the Ice Beam, and now they are at a Psycho Boost, but they are not yet at a Thunderbolt. They still need 1 or 2 more counters if they want to get that move off, and this puts them into 1 bubble range. They'll have to commit to a Psycho Boost now. Azu winning the 1 shield matchup here against the Pokemon with the Thunderbolt. Luckily, we are resisting these fast attacks. We just barely take that Switch advantage, but what comes in here, it's going to be that Goodra that gets a farm down against us. Luckily, we do have our Altaria, which is a decent answer to this. Even up energy, Goodra is not going to have a lot of play here. Thunder Punches are not super effective. They're not the best move, and it's non-stab. You're going to see it's not going to do a lot of damage to us, and we are going to be able to reach the Sky Attack before they can get to a second move here. What is their backline? Is it going to be something we have play into? I really hope that our Quagsire is going to have play now. It is going to be an Altaria. Alright, not exactly the best thing to see, but the fact that we have health left on our own Altaria means we can chip down this opposing dragon pretty heavily here with Dragon Breath pressure, put them potentially into Stone Edge range, and if we can land 2 Stone Edges here, we should be able to take this match. Stone Edge number 1 is going to come through. Either they shield this or they let it go thinking it's a bait. I think at this point, we do land the move, and now we go straight Aqua Tail. They are well within range now where we can Dragon Breath them down with our own Altaria. We have more health left over. At this point, we're just trying to strip this down as much as possible to guarantee that there's no way they can Dragon Breath down both our Quagsire and then our Altaria in the back. We are more healthy on our Altaria than they are. We should easily Dragon Breath them down here. It only takes 2. We had a couple more Dragon Breaths in us here, and we were able to take the win that game. Alright, next matchup. We have the Charjabugly, absolutely terrible matchup for us, but we can safe swap our Quagsire. Backline is generally pretty strong against these Charjabugs. In comes an Azumarill. If I can, I want to win Switch advantage this game. I know that it could be ABA Electric, but if that is the case, even though winning Switch against that wouldn't be super useful because Azu has nowhere to go, keeping my Quagsire alive would be a great thing to do. I'm going to shield this move. It's probably an Ice Beam, but I do need to shield it. I need to keep Quagsire alive here. I can start spamming out these Stone Edges. If they let the next one go as well, I think I can get a full Mudshot down, and it's going to make their lives very tricky. How are they going to take out my Quagsire if I have 100 energy on this when I get the farm down? They do let that through. They get to yet another move. I'm just going to shield this. I know I get the farm down before they get to another Ice Beam, and if I do this with Quagsire, and it's the team that I'm thinking with like a Lantern and Charjabug, then I think we might be in a very good spot to win this game. We literally have 100 energy. What is going to come in here? That Charjabug does have 1 Volt Switch of energy. We go for the bait. They have to shield this, right? Stone Edge would basically one-shot them. They make a fantastic call. They read it. We have another Aqua Tail. They are at the X-Scissor right now. I'm going to try to make a call here. I think they're going to instantly throw the X-Scissor. I'm going to catch the move, bank the Aqua Tail, and we do just that. We catch this X-Scissor here, resisted attack against our Azumarill, and now I know this is probably the best matchup here with our Azu. That Lantern in the back, if that's what it is going to be much better into Azu, but they do end up realizing that they swap out. They build up energy on their Charjabug, and now we get this first play rough off. If we can get 2 moves, I think that Azu is going to actually put in a lot of work this game. The first move does come through. If they get a little bit greedy here, we get to this next play rough. Looks like they're overfarming quite a bit. They obviously don't know we have an Altaria in the back, so getting as much charge move pressure against them as possible is going to make it so the Dragon Breath down is just that much easier. They end up throwing the Thunderbolt now. It'll be more than enough to knock us out, and Altaria should be able to farm this down. We have an Aqua Tail also loaded on our Quagsire. We're going to go for a CMP sack swap here. If they want to shield this, they can get that Surf off, but this was a CMP sack swap, so it means I get my energy off, I get their catch here as well, and now we can get to a move here against this Charjabug. We end up throwing this Aqua Tail. We lag like 2 turns there. I don't think that's going to matter, though. We have this Aqua Tail. We have the ability to farm this down also with Altaria. As long as they don't get to 3 discharges against our ult, I think we can win this game. We're going to just go for fast moves at this point. I don't think we can reach a charge move before they're even going to get knocked out. The first attack comes through. It's a discharge. It is going to put us pretty low, at least in range where maybe 3 could knock us out, but they don't get to that third move. We get the farm down, and we take out the ABA Electric team here with our Azumarill lead. And in the next game, a Shadow Feraligatr into an Azumarill lead. Honestly, I have always been the Shadow Feraligatr in this matchup. This is like our first time using Azu in just the head-to-head matchup here, so I don't really like being where I'm at right now. They have the Shadow Claw damage, it's ripping through our health. They have Hydro Cannons as well, which, while resisted, are a fantastic move. We are already nearly in half health. We have these play roughs. It's going to do a lot of damage. They probably do have to shield, but they outpace us so heavily here that if they shield once, I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to just get to these next Hydro Cannons and take us out before we can get this next play rough through. If that is the case, though, they will have to drain all of their energy against our Azu, and maybe we can farm them down with our Quagsire, or with our Altaria, rather, and once this thing is gone, maybe there's more play for a Quagsire in the back. Hydro Cannon does knock us out. We come in with our Altaria here, at least I'm pretty sure we do, there we go, and we can shield once, farm them all the way down. They can probably get to 2 Hydros against us, or maybe 1 Ice Beam, depending on if they want to try to bait us or not. We are going to shield this up. They got to 7, Ice Beam would one-shot us here. They do go for the Ice Beam, we shield that up, and what is their backline? Why did they let us get this farm down here? They're going to come in with, eventually, it is a Clodsire, it looks like. We have our Quagsire for this, and then in comes a Goodra as their third Pokemon. This isn't the best matchup here for Quagsire, but we do get the Stone Edge off first. If they want to shield this, they can be my guess. If they want to no-shield this, then maybe they're going to be an Aqua Tail range after. They do let it go. Aqua Tails are going to come through very quickly. I know that's just an Aqua Tail. They did not build up to a Power Whip, and most Goodras don't even run it, even if they did build up to it. So we call that move. We get this Aqua Tail off. Either we get the knockout, or we're going to have our Quagsire still around for that Clodsire later on. They do have to shield this move, in my opinion. Yeah, they do. And we can get to another Aqua Tail before getting Dragon Breath down. They realize that, they throw energy, and now it's all up to Altaria to try to win this game. This Goodra will get a bit of Dragon Breath pressure against our Altaria, but not enough, I think, to put us in range where 1 Stone Edge will knock us out. I need to get to 3 Sky Attacks here if I want to win this game. They need to get to 3 Stone Edges. It's going to be a race to the finish. First one comes through. We are almost at our next Sky Attack. They just barely get to their first Stone Edge now. While they do have the quicker charging move and the quicker charging fast attack, we know that we are up so much energy, and we survive 1 move from this Clodsire that we should be able to win this game getting to these 3 Sky Attacks. We are almost at double. I'm going to throw my next one in just a second. Can we survive this Stone Edge? We take the Stone Edge, just barely survive. Thankfully, they're running Mud Shot, not Poison Sting. They have no fast move pressure against us, so it's going to come down to if we can get this next move off before they are going to get theirs. We do, and they realize that GG's, that Clodsire in the back, putting in a lot of work, but we're just able to overcome it barely with Altaria's bulk. Alright, Wigglytuff lead. Very neutral matchup. Charmer into Fairy type. Obviously, Wigglytuff is a Pokemon with a lot of fast move pressure, but Azu is one of the bulkier Pokemon in the game. We have a lot of fast move pressure ourselves, and we reach these moves before they do. I'm going to build up to a potential Hydro Cannon, make them think, do they want to shield this? Do they want to let it go? They do end up shielding that move, because it could have been a Hydro. That would have done a lot of damage to them. What move are they going to throw against us? Wigglytuff users are not normally the smartest. They throw the Icy. When we no-shield it, it does nothing. And for some reason, after debuffing us, they decide, you know, if we're going to debuff you, we're just going to swap out so you can clear your debuff as well. Very nice of them. I'm so happy I don't have to be locked in with the debuff. They come in with a Lantern here, a Pokemon that generally our Azu does not want to see, but Altaria here is going to have a lot of play into. I don't necessarily need Switch this game. I know that I don't have a hard answer to Charm, and kind of Quagsire and Azu in a lot of matchups do very similar things. If I can just set up a farm down for Quagsire here, I'm going to be pretty happy with that. I don't want to give them an energy lead. I'd prefer an energy lead of my own. They do throw yet another move. We just barely survive it, but I'm going to stop tapping, intentionally let my Altaria go down, and do 1 Mudshot with my Quagsire to get energy lead here. If they come back in with that Wigglytuff, we have so much of an energy lead and a shield advantage that is, that we can start throwing out these moves. We have 2 Aqua Tails almost already. First Aqua Tail will come through. Are they going to let it go? Are they going to shield it? They kind of have to let this go, in my opinion, because they already have used 1 shield this game. We get to yet another attack. What is their third Pokemon going to be at this point? If it's something that beats water types, then we are in trouble. Otherwise, we're in a good spot. They do swap at the exact same time as us. What was that? It was a Thundershock that I saw come through. I think that was a Unova Stunfisk. So a great catch by them, but even though they made that nice catch, I think we're still in a fantastic spot. We can go for Ice Beams here if they don't throw their energy, and even if they did throw energy, I just let that go, build up a lot of energy with Quagsire, and win the game with that. We still have 2 shields to our name. We get that Ice Beam through, basically knock out this Stunfisk at this point. We can let this go, farm them down with our Quagsire, Aqua Tail, that Wigglytuff, and take the game from there. They do get to a move. They have a lot of energy here. They can probably get to 1 Mud Bomb, but as I was saying, that Wigglytuff, it doesn't have a lot of energy on it. We can get the farm down, get to the Aqua Tail before they can get to a move, and this Stunfisk doesn't even get to a second attack here. In comes the Wigglytuff. We have the Aqua Tail loaded. We'll throw it, just knock this Wigglytuff out, take it out of its misery, and we can take the game here with our Shadow Quagsire sweeping the backline. All right, our next opponent, what are they going to have in store for us? It is going to be a Talonflame lead. Fantastic lead to see. Honestly, our whole team has play into this, so it's really going to be awkward if they stay in here, and I don't really know what they have in the back. They end up safe swapping a Lickitung. I do not have a hard answer to this, but with that said, I don't really need Switch once again against that Fire-type Pokemon. So I did a bit of extra energy buildup with our Azu, then I'm going to Sponge Energy with our Altaria, try to chip this thing down as much as possible, and then hopefully Quagsire and Azu in the back will have some sort of play into whatever the third Pokemon is going to be. We do end up taking a lot of moves here. They're almost at their third attack. I'm just going to go for the Moonblast. I think I want to get the raw damage here. I know they could shield this up, but it would be kind of a wild shield. But if they do feel like they need Switch here, they will shield this move up. They do. And if they throw energy anytime soon, I'll be very happy. It means they won't have a ton for a backline. They do throw energy before we get their next Sky Attack. Smart play to not, let us get that next move up, but I wasn't really that close to it anyway. We come with our Quagsire, because how am I going to take out this Lickitung? I could try to play rough it, but it's not really in play rough range. I'm thinking maybe a Stone Edge would be more than enough to knock them out at this point. We'll shield up this move, respect the fact it could be a Power Whip. Body Slam does come through there, and now we can either go for the Stone Edge or go for the double Aqua Tail. I feel like they're going to no-shield this. I'm going to go straight for the Stone Edge, and they do end up no-shielding that. If that Talonflame comes back in, I can Stone Edge it. If anything else comes in, I guess we'll play it by ear, but it is going to be that Talonflame. We take advantage of a one-turn lag there. We throw on bad timing, which turns out to be good timing. Good stuff by me. We get that Stone Edge shielded up, it looks like. We'll shield this up ourselves, because I know that maybe Quagsire is going to have more play in the back than our Azu could. Might be a Lantern or an Electric type of some sort, and in that case, we want to keep our Ground type alive. We get this Stone Edge off. It's going to do so much damage to them at this point. It'll one-shot them. It would one-shot an entire family of Talonflames, and we see their third Pokemon is a Water Gun Lantern. Alright, this is a little bit awkward, because obviously our Azumarill does not want to see this, but we have so much energy on our Quagsire. This Stone Edge is going to put them very low. We also basically have a Play Rough loaded on our Azu. We're going to force them to throw energy here. If I would have got that move off, that would put them well within range where Play Rough would have knocked them out, but even these Mud Shots have put them pretty low. I'm pretty sure at this point, they're in range for a couple bubbles, and then a Play Rough is going to be more than enough to knock them out. A Thunderbolt wouldn't even KO me at this point. Maybe this is enough right here if it's not the best Lantern in the world. Let's see. It does end up knocking them out, and Azu able to take out its arch rival, the Lantern, in the back. Alright everyone, well thank you so much for watching today's video. I stream Pokemon Go PvP nearly every day at twitch.tv/ItsAXN, so if you want to see this kind of content live, make sure to check me out there. I'm also going to upload a lot more videos to the channel, so if you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe. Alright everyone, well thank you again for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.